Good morning. Well, markets are off to a great start here this morning. And if they can't make it on the NASDAQ anyway, if it can't make it to new all-time highs, that would mean that sellers have taken control early on. No evidence of that. You can see on the hourly chart just a blast off, pull back into what was resistance into support. Right? Pretty simple concept. Bottoming tail bar, and the news hits and explodes right up into here where the sellers were lurking. So now we'll see in the next half hour how much sellers want to step up here at this resistance. It would make total sense that overnight holders would sell into that in the first few minutes, partially anyway. And then we'll be able to assess how much of that results in a pullback. So just looking at this particular chart now, we just move our reference point up here, right? What was resistance? You had that little breakout failure right there. And the pullback into the minor support, the bottoming tail, and the shoot up into that high. So there's no reason why this should retrace in any major way. And kind of should being the operative word there. We'll see if it does. If it does, well, maybe something's up. Well, the Fed chair will be speaking at 10 o'clock. Everybody will be listening very closely to make sure he's going to reinforce the expected lowering of interest rates. So with the weekly move that started at the beginning of June, pushing up into this area, I still have to look at this from the point of view of this has had a pretty good move in a relatively short period of time into an area of price resistance. And this huge number up here of 8,000, which would still benefit all of us for a move from here up to there. But that's the next obvious reference point, even though it's new all-time highs, that being that big whole number up there for the markets to actually be a magnet toward moving there if it can clear these highs. So intraday, we should see this morning just chop sideways, buyers on a pullback, go higher. And once it reaches there, well, then we'll see what happens at that historic level. And these are the futures, looking at the cues for the reference point. Doesn't really correlate well, does it? As to a big whole number there. So just taking note, I guess that would be like the 194, which is like no big deal. And anyway, same pattern, price pattern, pullback to support, rally up into resistance, and 191, 992. That's interesting. Just as I'm looking at this, because the first time I am looking at it, that this is pushing up to above the highs there, and the futures just stopped right there. So unusual that the Qs are leading to break to new all-time highs. And so we'll see, again, as I said, what the reaction is right here at the open as to how much sellers want to step up and take profits. And just reading comments there. Okay. Looking at the S&Ps. All right, they're lagging here, but so this already made their new all-time high. So we got the NASDAQ playing a little catch up there, pushing up to those highs. You can see the big blast off and same pullback, bottoming tail bar, big hourly bar. So a big move in a really short period of time, which creates the void. Just looking at the smaller time frame there on the 5-minute chart. You see there's really little to nothing to stop it from pulling back. So buyers have to continue to step up here and just do this and do that. And we've got a reference point there as to that little overlapping opens and closes right there where buyers should want to step up. Should it pull back more bullishly, it'll just chop sideways and then try to push higher toward that 3,000 area up there, which is where it stalled prior. And with this kind of a pattern, let's just pull this back here a little bit. And it's tested once and buyer stepped up there again. It's technically, it should be able to push up through that based on that pullback, not stop there for very long other than any short-term profit taking. It should push through there. So I say that as an observation is that if it doesn't push through there and retraces deeply there, well, as buyers are then stepping up a lot more aggressively there, and we have to think about how much of this interest rate cut is already figured into this whole move here, and it's not going to go much further. So we'll just have to observe and see what it's going to do here in the next day or so. Dow trying to push up, get to new all-time highs as well. We're high there. You can see same weekly chart up against resistance, and it's been up here several times in the last few years. So that'll be a media historic event if this can get a close above these levels. And just looking at, do I have a cash Dow chart here? All right, yeah, we do right there. We'll see if we can get through this 27,000 level, which isn't all that far away. So it should be able to do that. And you can see it's been an area where it has not been able to get through for several years. So something that we'll keep an eye on. Oil coming back up to retest the highs. And that is impressive to come back from the big wide range bar like that and stop kind of in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing there to the left, and kind of pushing right up above the high of the bearish wide range bar. And we'll see what it does up in that area of that prior pivot high. You can see it stalled right underneath it. So oil pushing up into resistance. Bonds just hanging in this trading range here. Just want to take a look at TBT. Not a total vote of confidence in everything that's going on here. You're going to want to see this start perking up here, and after this breakdown failure that occurred. So we'll see. Keep an eye on bonds during the day. Gold, right, coming back up as it should, but still within this range, consolidating the gains. Still looks good. We talked about multiple times the breakout of multiple year consolidation. It's doing exactly what it needs to do to stay bullish. So far ignoring this topping tail and going sideways at the top of this wide range weekly bar and pushing back up, is consolidating the gains there. So far everything looks great there. And just taking a peek at currencies here. And pulling back into support. This euro pulling up. Dollar should be going down. Has to be with euro going up like that. So for the most part, other than bonds, things are moving as they should based on the expected news. And we'll see how far that goes. Pretty much green all across the board here of what's moving pre-market. To take note of, very little that's going down. That's interesting. Levi being down like it is, I guess it anticipated the earnings. They come out and they actually beat, but it's down here quite a bit. So that's actually was a new issue recently. And then I think that's about it. Markets are moving up here. We'll just have to see how they react to these old highs here. How much profit taking comes in, how much they pull back. Most bullish, and I guess if they just go sideways and consolidate here a bit for the half hour or so. I mean, probably, and maybe they run. I'm just thinking because Powell starts talking at 10 o'clock, which is a reversal period. And by that point, I think most will want to listen. So step aside to see what jiggles come.
All right. Good morning. Yeah. So I remember we talked yesterday about them releasing his kind of canned testimony. So I'm sure that's what they did this morning. There might have been some leaks yesterday because there was some nice buying right into the close. We have a ton of open longs though, so we're not participating. Weekly options trader. We took profits on Amazon yesterday. It's gapping up again. Twilio, we took our profits. It's moving up. Opens, we entered SMH. Beautiful. And we also have this in the swing trader. We're long the ETF. Right when it started breaking out, I gave the go ahead there at like 110.78. So we're up very nicely on that gap. EWZ is in both letters as a put spread. And finally, Xilinx was a beautiful put spread. And it's also a directional watch, but now the gap's gonna mess things up. Okay, thanks, Howard. And Michael, I see you're new here today. Welcome, and do me a favor, put your drop down to all panelists and attendees so everybody can see each other's questions. Yeah, but of course he's open to a rate cut, but you know, I think it's about his comments and the amount of them. Now, swing and options trader, let's go through. We got a bunch of them here. We're long stock on Fizzler, SBH. We shorted this thing yesterday. SAIC, long stock, beautiful multi-week consolidation. Looks like that's gapping up a little bit to 89, but on light volume. Costco, retailer, we added yesterday, bullish 1, 2, 3, 4 to all-time highs. SMH I mentioned, Zulu Sierra put spread, looks great. I tighten the stop. RVLV, a recent issue. We're long stock. CMG, a bull flag consolidation. We got a put spread on that, looks great. The EWZ I mentioned, THC. We are short stock with a break even stop now. Whiskey Papa, long stock. Cody, long stock. Deep retracement. Today we're going to be at MT Live. We're talking about island reversals patterns. And this one's actually in it. Look at this island reversal right here off the lows. Wow. Powerful. Snap. We are long call options. Run. We're long stock as a core that's in the solar space, along with SPWR, and I'm sad I didn't get back in right there. RPD. We have a covered call. So see, we're very heavy long. Now let's look at some gappers. Greg's Coffee Shop, Lima Kilo it's not a gapper, but I guess like going through some of these IPOs. And it's getting tight. It's getting tight. If it can get moving out of this base. Crowd, little IPO, moving up, and this one is optionable. And it's fairly juicy. So McGraw, are you still in Mexico? Let's keep an eye on a 60 put spread. UNM gapping down. I don't know the reason. I don't care. 33 bucks. So I was actually thinking of this one could be a condor, a short condor. So now we have, actually, this is a Bear Island reversal. I'm gonna have to put that in our charts. It's leaving this entire island of resistance. But now I have this as support. So it looks like it's going to be a big old range bound. CSX got a downgrade, but there's nothing there. Deer got a downgrade, but that's a bull flag actually. The old deer. I always like looking at the cousins. Cat, a mess. KSH. I don't know what the deal, but it's a mess. See, I'm always in the pruning mode. Pruning is, you pull the weeds out of your garden, so I don't have too much to look at. This one's gapping up to 166, but I don't like the way it trades, so I wouldn't touch it as a directional unless you can get a put spread. Healy earnings 143. The gap's excessive, but we'll keep an eye on it. This one, Ango, had a gap and crap pre-market, so it's back to being flat. That's a little gold stock, nothing to do there. CMCSA was on the news this morning for a while. CNBC, and it got an upgrade, 44 bucks. That's worth watching. It's a big gap, but if it can chop around for a few days, breakout. VISL. This looks like a little penny stock toy. Look at this. Boom. This looks like, just these pump and dumpers. That's exactly what this picture looks like. Put out a press release. Pump it, sell on the strength. Pump it, sell on the strength. Pump it, sell on the strength. And today, wow, that's a big gap. These other pumps were 350. Now it's double of that. They got a nice press release pumper out today. Wow. But that's not my style. I don't trade those. TMUS is being added to the S&P. Is it the S&P 500? That doesn't matter. It's being added to one of the indexes because of Red Hat coming out. So we'll see if we can get a put spread on that. MSM had earnings. Very bearish gap. Monthly though, a lot of support area. But that's a bearish gap. I'm going to put that in my window here. Levi, Greg mentioned, 22 bucks. Nothing to do. LDS, I've just been watching for a couple days after this nice gap up. It's still worth a watch. So say some stocks I keep in here. Look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Today's the 7th day. Whereas some of those other ones, I just pull the weed out immediately. But this one's still possible. Some IPOs here getting beat up, but look at all these tails. 26 bucks, so it's gapping right. What's gapping over yesterday's high, so that's a start. Alex, that's right. I never had a kid. Pumping. You're right. I have absolutely no idea what that means. Work. Hey, we have a gap. There's still in a downtrend, but that's a powerful gap reversal bar. Maybe buyers can form a bottom. Fiber is in pain. Look, this breakdown engulfing right here. That was ugly. Chewy, nothing yet. Crowd. Oh, I mentioned that down here already. Okay. Real, I mentioned already. Chewy, crowd. All right, no interest in these pot stocks. Beyond, watching that as a put spread. Uber and Lyft. Still a mess. Tesla. Tesla. This could be our reversal day where I wanted to do a put spread. Remember I said I wanted a potent reversal? This is definitely on the put spread watch today, Tesla. Definitely. Facebook was showing great strength yesterday, and Alex made us all aware it's all-time highs. I had to correct them though. Google, Netflix, Apple. Apple, a day trade watch. Look, it's breaking out a 2-day high and has a price void into this gap. So day trade watch. Bitcoin. Wow, look, nice 2-bar reversal right here into the gap. Wow. That's an amazing comeback. All right, so I haven't been looking at the chat room as I go through my morning stuff. So if there's any questions for me, please shoot them out again. TSS is on my long watch list as a breakout. GPN looked fantastic yesterday. Square is what brought us to the sector. MA looked great, gapping up $2. Little ELF. Let's see if he'll set up as a 1, 2, 3 plan. Nice breakout, all-time highs. Cal is on my short watch. Some. Some. We're watching this because even though there's no setup on the daily, unusual call activity, daily, weekly, monthly. And I set an alarm already at 1910, so that's why I got some over here. SMH. How did I lose my pre-market data? Wonderful. I lost my pre-market. So frustrating. It just disappears, and now I can't get it back. Oh, man, this is so frustrating. All right, well, I'm not going to reboot. Well, actually, I am. I got 3 minutes, so give me a second. Not rebooting, I mean, I'm just rebooting TradeStation, so hold on. Alex, why do you think I'm the company's tech advisor? Greg's always asking me questions. This doesn't work, this doesn't work. And I'm like, just relax, I'll take care of it. Good. All right, I got my pre-market back. So SMH, 112, still looks higher, you know, but when momentum slows, we'll be talking about selling a third. All right, I'm done, 929. Looks like all our opens are fine. TSS is still on my radar here. Looks great. Let's just see what the futures are going to do here. Ideally, I'd like them just to chop around for 30 minutes.